50 minutes of Heat, and I can let Solana chime in on this as well. But one of the questions for Ira Winderman in the Sun Sentinel, the Heat now potentially face the Hawks, Raptors, or both in the play-in games. The offseason is rapidly approaching. Has Pat Riley lost his touch? Okay? Here's what Ira says, and I'll ask you your guys' opinion. Ira says, did he lose his touch last year when the Heat got within one game of the finals? Does one lose his touch in a single season? Is a postseason berth, which is still likely, suddenly an abject failure? Disappointing season? Sure. But a failure? That's a bit severe. Let's wait and see what happens, even with the potential challenges from the Raptors, Hawks, and perhaps even the Bulls in the playoff round, if this is where the path leads for the Heat. So the question is, in Heat fans' minds, it's an abject failure. But really, if you look at the grand scheme of things, first of all, last season you were a game away from the NBA Finals, and plenty of teams would love to just qualify for the playoffs.
Yep.
So did Pat Riley lose his touch?
For the bar he set for us, or for NBA random team A?
However you want to answer it.
Because you see what I'm saying? I'm a Miami Heat fan since 05 when I got down here. I've seen 3 championships. I've seen playoffs pretty much every damn year I've been in South Florida, Hawk. We shouldn't be in the play-in game. We're the Miami Heat. If I'm a Kings fan, there's no way he lost his touch. We're in the playoff. We're in the play-in round. So I would say the standard Pat set, that's why people are upset by him. Did he have a bunch of misses here recently? Yes.
Yes.
Duncan, Hassan before that, Kyle. We've missed on some guys here, and this development of these young G League two-way players, we need to get a little bit away from that.
Solana, did Pat Riley lose his touch?
I don't know if I'd say he lost his touch. How's he going to recover from this? If he doesn't, then you can start having the conversation, did Pat Riley lose his touch? Crowder, even with all those names you just mentioned, the Heat were still a shot away from the NBA Finals last year. So, again, I'm not trying to harp on that. I get it. This year has been a failure. The Heat going from a shot away from the NBA Finals to clearly regressing in a big way. You could definitely say Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg and whoever are the decision makers clearly thought that this team was capable of taking a next step, banking on the Struces, the Gabe Vincents, the Tyler Heroes, the Duncans to take the next step, and they didn't. So did they, misjudge that? For sure. I don't see how anybody could argue that. I don't think they would disagree with it. But to say Pat Riley's lost his touch, I mean, if next year the Heat aren't in the playoffs and they were unable to rebuild the roster, okay, fine, start having that conversation. But because one year you regress after a conference finals trip last year, after an NBA finals trip 2 years ago, I don't know. I just think it's Heat fans constantly wanting the next big whale, the next big whale, the next big whale, which are the expectations that have been set. It's just not possible every year.
And to Solana's point, and shameless plug on the pivot, we had UD on this week. He kind of reiterated about himself what Solana's saying about the team. Because I asked him the question about wasting that 15th position. He said, we went to the finals 2 years ago. We were one shot away last year. Obviously, me being on the team is working. So to Solana's point, championship run, Eastern champion, one shot away from going to the championship. Now this third year, Pat lost it? I can't say that after 2 damn deep playoff runs.
Right. So the question really is, the comment really is, we as Heat fans have a certain expectation when it comes to the Heat. And this year's team, it was a miscalculation by Pat Riley, but that doesn't mean he lost his touch.
Yeah.
Right? It was a miscalculation, but it takes a little more. It creates touch when you have the longevity. It's not luck, right? When you've done it over a long, consistent basis, which he's done. You don't lose your touch in one season where you're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can miscalculate, but you didn't lose your touch.
Perfect example of expectations. The Knicks are 4 games ahead of us, Solana?
Yeah.
They're celebrating like
they won the championship already in New York.
Yeah.
4 games ahead. We need to blow it up and fire Pat Riley because we're in the position we're in. But the expectations that were set down here, and I would say in my heart, Come on, Heat. What are y'all doing? They're in the playing round and we're complaining.
Yeah, but what makes it so much more frustrating is that you were that close last year. You had the taste of it, and you.
Well, that's why I say it was a miscalculation, right, because he thought, as did Heat fans, we're right there, and so we hone it, we fine tune it, and it didn't work out that way.
But everybody else, and to Crowder's credit, even though I think the reason why he was giving the Celtics so much love, Malcolm Brogdon, was wrong. Mm-hmm. You were right in the point that everybody else, you told us. Everybody else went out and got better. All the contenders went out and got better. They improved their roster, and the Heat, as Hawk is saying, miscalculated the potential of what they had. And that's why you're sitting at this stage right here and hoping that you can win a game just to secure a playoff position.
How the drafts are done in football and basketball. The worst team supposedly has the higher pick and goes down. It's trying to make parity amongst that team. But when you win a championship, you still get a draft pick. The championship team Milwaukee still drafting people when they win it. The Lakers win it, whoever. That's the thing, is that we didn't move anything. We didn't change anything after that potential, whatever, the Eastern Conference final run, and that was scary because you laugh at
and
me.
You lost a starter, too, with P.J. Tucker. I mean, you lost a starter. As bad as P.J. Tucker has been, or as inconsequential as you think he may have been, you lost a starter. You lost one of your starting five on the team that was a game away from the NBA Finals.
So your roster regressed without P.J. Tucker.
Yeah.
And you just can't do that when the Celtics are adding Brogdon.
Hawk, let me ask you guys this. If next year the Heat are back in the conference finals, would that surprise you?
No.
With this roster?
No, just in general.
No. If you're saying with this roster, yes, it would surprise me.
For
If
sure.
you're saying, would I be surprised if Pat Riley was able to reload enough to make them an Eastern Conference Finals competitor? That would not surprise me, just based on his past performance.
I know not surprised, Solana, but I believe this roster would look very different if it is.
Yeah, but that's my point. You to say Pat Riley lost his touch, essentially you're saying he can't fix this. And I'm saying I don't think anybody would be shocked if next year the Heat were able to salvage this situation and rebuild, move guys, and put together another title contending core. So if you believe that, which most people probably do, you can't say Pat Riley's lost it, that he's lost his touch.
Here's the next, it's not the next, but here's another question that Ira got in the Sun Sentinel. I think the reality is they just aren't as good as the top five teams, and now looking like they aren't as good as 6 because they couldn't beat Brooklyn. I love watching the Heat every year, but this year has been a tough one. I'm with them until they go fishing. And Ira says, which certainly could come sooner than later. If the playoffs are about momentum, this is not trending in the right direction. And time for making statements is running out. I'm not sure that anything beyond a victory next week in Philadelphia would qualify as a statement on the Heat's remaining regular season schedule. There could have been a statement against the Nets last Saturday, but not. There could have been a statement in Toronto, but not. There could have been a statement in New York, but not. Suddenly, those statement victories earlier in the month against the Hawks, the Cavs, and the Knicks feel like distant memories. I think what Ira's saying there about momentum and what the writer of that email is saying is, I also wouldn't hold out much hope that there's going to be a miraculous Heat turnaround in the playoffs, which a lot of times we think is going to happen as well. I think with this and my guess is if you had Pat Riley on a truth detector, a lie detector, he would tell you, it's not going to happen this season. I know everybody's ready. Playoff Jimmy, though, and maybe playoff Kyle Lowry, and Duncan gets more playing time, and he's knocking down threes and stuff. Kind of feel like we need to be realistic with this team this season and say, hey, if they make it if they're in the play-in game, they make it to the first round of the playoffs, and we have a little fun, it is what it is. Don't expect miracles out of this team.
And it's shooting. I just looked it up. Bam's numbers are better than last year. Jimmy's numbers are better than last year. Points and rebounds right there. They're either equal or better. I would say, Tyler's number took a small regression, but nothing crazy. It's that we were one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league last year, and this year we're not. We're still top 10 in defensive categories. We can't shoot the damn deep ball. If we find – Solana, answer your other question. If we can find a Duncan Robinson, not by the name of Duncan Robinson, and a Kyle Lowry with a different name, we could be good. I would not be surprised if we can find some shooters because this team is based around Jimmy and Bam working the paint. Stand out there and do your damn job, you little frail fellas.
But they've got someone that can shoot, and
No,
they're
they
just
don't.
not get. They do.
They don't.
They're just not giving them any minutes. And by the way, you were off yesterday. Solana agrees with me. Told me I was right about Duncan.
About what, they need to trade him?
Solana, tell him.
So I don't let me. The pressure got to you?
Crowder. I think Hawk has been right the entire time.
Duncan's the savior.
I'm not saying
Did
he's
you
a
watch him?
savior.
Did you see
I'm not
him the
saying
other
he's a
night?
savior.
And when he went, he
Played
was 4 for 5 in one of those
played
games,
27 minutes. What was it against the
The Knicks.
Knicks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
It was against the
Wednesday.
Knicks, played 27 minutes, and I don't know how much of the game you watched because we played sound from Amy Audibert yesterday. She was praising his defense. His defense was good. It was like, I'm telling you, if he's on the bench because he's a defensive liability, he showed you Wednesday he should not be on the bench.
I think he's just a microwave. Sometimes, a broken microwave. Sometimes he gets hot as hell quick, and sometimes you can't. He's not enough. He's not.
Let's get the microwave hot then.
I like this analogy. Spo doesn't trust him to be an oven. There's no preheat in Spo's mind with Duncan. He's microwaving Duncan. He's putting 1 minute, and he's going to warm that thing. If it's not hot enough, he's sitting his ass down and unplugging the microwave.
Vinny Johnson was the microwave with the Pistons. Guess what? They won championship after championship. You need a microwave.
We need a Vinny Johnson.
You need a microwave. All right, there you go. 15 minutes of heat.